Hello book friends and welcome back, or welcome. I am winding down as it's Friday. Oh, and we have a visitor. You good? It has been a hectic week, and in my 9 to 5 I hit a really big milestone today, and I have been working my busy butt off to get that done. So it was a really adrenaline driven moment, but then also a really great relief, because something that you've created and spent so much time doing is now out in the world for other people to experience and enjoy. So that's really exciting. So I bought myself some flowers while I was grocery shopping this afternoon. They're nothing special, they're just from Coles. But you know what? Sometimes when you've done a really good job, it's worth giving yourself a little bit of self-care. Don't you agree, puss? A little bit of self-care, a little bit of self-love, and just a congratulations to yourself, because sometimes other people around you don't realize or know that something that you've put so much time and thinking, power and energy into, it's not something that you expect other people to be aware of or to acknowledge. But for yourself, when you acknowledge it, I think it's really nice to just champion yourself and give yourself a little yahoo moment and good job. So in lieu of that, I have decided that this weekend I am going to reread 2 and potentially 3, depending on how quickly I get through these. I've decided that I'm going to reread the 2 Lila Sage books that I absolutely adore. I'm pretty certain I do own physical copies of both of these, but as you can see, I went and purchased another copy of each. I do have a copy of Lost and Lassoed, the 3rd one. But they're all out on loan, and I am that person who does not know who they have loaned their books to, but one day they just re-emerge. And you know what? That makes my heart really happy, because it means that someone has something that belongs to you that they see on their shelf and they think, oh, I should read that before I give that back to that person. So for me, I actually don't mind the time that it takes for a book to come back to me. It means that it has an opportunity to be read by someone that I have given it to in a heartfelt gesture. This weekend, I am going to read possibly these 2, if not certainly this one, and then as we move through the weeks, I will read Lost and Lassoed again, because we are in preparation for Wild and Wrangled to come out. Pretty certain it's in April. I cannot express to you how excited I am. This is probably one of the takes up space in my brain romance series. I did finish last night The Favourites by Lainey Fargo. Oh my god. To say that I had quite a controversial start to that book. I got like 106 to 110 pages in, and I was like, look, I'm pretty close to putting this book down. I wasn't enjoying it. It felt really high school. It felt a bit amateur for what I was thinking of what this book would be going into it. And then all of a sudden something snapped and something changed, and the book just took this way different direction than what I was expecting. And holy Julie, what a wild ride. I was up till 1:30 on multiple nights reading that. So I finished that at about 12:30 last night, managed to get through the day, but have decided to reward myself with some really soul warming and comforting reading this weekend. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride. I hope you've also had a lovely week. I hope you're sitting down with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Maybe also yourself having a little yogurt afternoon treat. When we say afternoon, it's like 6 o'clock, but that means we have time to wind down. The washing machine's going, hang out washing this weekend. We'll be doing some reading. I think it's going to be really nice. It's going to be really relaxing. My goodness, friends, we've just gotten back from a walk. It is going to be a very hot day here today, and I have been listening to the Shameless Media or Shameless podcast, their episode on reviewing Fourth Wing, which I've actually really enjoyed, because it'll help me when I get to the point of going into Onyx Storm, which is where I'm up to. I've read Fourth Wing, I've read Iron Flame. I remember the end of Iron Flame being a little bit predictable, so I'm excited to hear people's reviews of Onyx Storm. From what I have seen so far, quite positive. This podcast, if you need a bit of a recap, highly recommend. Good evening, book friends. It's only 9:15, but we are so ready for bed, and I've already read a few chapters. If you were to describe the feeling of comfort and familiarity, I think one of the best ways, if you're a reader, to be able to describe that is when you go back and reread a book or a series, or you reread a world that you just really love, and that the characters just feel real, the world, the towns, places, they just don't feel fictional, you know? So if I were to describe the feeling of reading Rebel Blue Ranch books again, that would be it. And to think that this book series, Lila Sage only had these published in 2023. Like, she is fresh. Not that she, you know, hasn't been writing for quite a while, because she certainly has. I think she's done like anthologies and things like that. But these have just really quickly become some of my favourite romance books. We are taking ourselves out for a coffee and to do a little bit of editing. It is set to be such a hot day here today, so I'm going to get coffee while it's still relatively cool-ish. Good evening, friends, and happy Saturday evening. I went out and had a lovely dinner with some family. We went and had Thai, which I always love. Give me a pad Thai any day and I will be chuffed. So today I got up and went for a walk, which you would have seen. Then I just seriously deep cleaned. I wanted to give you a recap on where I'm up to in Done and Dusted by Lila Sage for this little reread that we're doing this week and this weekend. Oh my god, I have been flying through this book, and part of me flying through this book has been I'm listening to it on audio with my little AirPods as I have been doing housework all day. I have listened to 3 hours and 18 minutes of this book. What? That is just bonkers to me. I'd only read like, maybe like 4 chapters last night, so I wasn't far in. So I'm now up to track 18, which I figured out actually it doesn't, I don't think, cross over with the chapters in the book, because at one point I did have the opportunity to like sit and I was reading along in the book as I was audiobooking, and it was so much fun. Apparently, I'm not sure if this comes from a study, maybe it's just from like the book girlies, that if you physically read and audiobook at the same time, it's just like the ultimate immersive book readerish experience. And I have to agree. I was so in it. I don't love the narrators. I think because I've already read this book before. I have already read this book twice. This might actually be my 3rd read of this book. But because I have already read this book before, past tense, I feel like I have a strong sound of Emmy and Brooks's voices, and the narrators aren't it. But look, they're doing the job. Let me just try and figure this out, because if I were up to track 18 and it was chapter 18, yeah, I can guarantee you I am not up to that part in the book. I am now up to the part where Luke is just about to go, or Brooks is just about to go to family dinner after him and Emmy have just had their little steamy moment of actually figuring out that they do like each other and things are getting good. So at this point, I'm up to chapter 15 and 18 on audio. So far, so good. I just love these books. I love Rebel Blue Ranch. I love Wes. I love Gus. I love Riley. She's so gorgeous. She's Gus's daughter. And I love Amos. Amos Ryder. He is just the ultimate cowboy western dad and father figure to all of them in this book, including Brooks. I'll see you tomorrow for another reading update. Sunday, book friends. In the time that it takes for my 2-cup stovetop coffee to boil, which I'm listening out for, I'm going to round off this vlog and tell you about the 2 reads, one that I have finished and one that I am now audiobooking and also following along with. So if you have not read any of Lila Sage's books, I highly encourage that you do so, because they are just so well paced and because they just give all those warm fuzzy feelings. But I think also if you enjoy country westerns, if you have grown up in the country in Australia, then these 2 books, yes, they follow romance, but the environment, you're on a farm, you're on a ranch, and I think it's just really, like, their language and how Western they are is really entertaining. So Done and Dusted follows Emmy and Luke, and I've read this book. This is probably my 3rd reread of this book, to be completely honest. I have been audiobooking. I audiobooked pretty much all of yesterday. I finished this book at 1:47 a.m. exactly. I couldn't stop until I'd finished it. It's as simple as that. And then this one, Swift and Saddled, I know will be exactly the same. So this follows Ada and Wes, and Wes is redoing one of the old houses on the property, and Ada is a designer. She's been working with him on all of the plans via email. This is the first time they're meeting, but they actually had a really good meeting at the bar the night before they actually started work. So I am now audiobooking this. Started this morning. It again is like a 6-7 hour audiobook, so probably be reading a lot of that today, but also throughout the week, because I'm going to be FaceTiming some friends today. I'm going to be drinking coffee. I'm going to be editing this video. I might actually make some brookies as well, which are brownie cookies. So we have got a few things on the agenda today, but I wanted to give you a book update, and I'm just having the best time. So I hope you have had a really good weekend of reading. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, come back if you like the book vibes, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good week, book friends.